Saturn through the houses. First, Saturn in the Lagna or Ascendant, first house. First house is your physical body. It's a part of your personality. It's how you direct yourself and present yourself to the world. It represents your whole life as a total. It gives you also your physical features. It also shows what's mainly what you're thinking about in your head. It's also the sign that was rising towards the east. Whatever sign was rising to the east, that becomes your ascendant sign and your Lagna or house. Transcribed to Lagna is that what is attached to you. Oh, you have Saturn in the ascendant or Lagna. Well, to start, Saturn is not happy here because he's in a place where you have to use your physical body. You have to be focused on thyself because that's ascendant you. Saturn, as funny as it sounds, really doesn't like a single person and being a kingly authoritative. But Ascendant is the original house of Aries, and that's all about individuality, initiative, self, me first, I am. Saturn is the opposite of that. It's not about you. They have feelings too. You can't be all me. Brat. Putting Saturn in the Ascendant and pretty much putting him on a throne. Why? Why am I sitting here? I want to be out there with everybody else. Fine. Do I have to be like that flamer son? Do I have to? So in this situation, what's in somebody's mind is going to be something usually about fear and anxiety. Having things be ordered, structured. The way that they think and pretty much respond to things that they encounter can be a bit cold and cruel sometimes and point blank and harsh. But at the same time, though, having Saturn in the Ascendant makes somebody's physical body extremely resistant to damage. Like, you're able to take a lot of physical hits. So this is pretty good for somebody who's doing mixed martial arts or going the armed forces, or if you get into a fight, you actually have a lot more resistance to pain, from what I've noticed, because I have Saturn in the Ascendant. You also, the physical body and the way that somebody ages, they age very slow. And also, if you have a certain amount of grahas being connected with Saturn, it also has a thing. It also adds on top of that. But somebody actually ages very slow because Ascendant is physical body. Saturn is old. He takes his time. So somebody's age and their life and their aging slows down. It goes very slow. It takes its time. So you can kind of see if somebody appears more youthful, that could be a sign that they have Saturn in the Ascendant, but also depending on his dignity. Because you can have Saturn and Aries in the Ascendant, and that is, Saturn's not happy like that. And aspect codes, 3rd, 7th, and 10th. 3rd house, he's going to expect you to put in double the effort in communications, interactions with your siblings, or cousins, neighbors, and if you're going to be doing any short distance travel, you got to be really careful because he's going to make you put in more efforts towards the house of efforts and communications and marketing. 7th house, if Saturn is in a good dignity, having immense loyalty and devotion, a big strong sense of responsibility towards your partnerships, relationships, commitment to spouse figure, devotions, you're going to be really strict on it if he's in a good dignity. If it's not in a good dignity, you may actually be committing to contracts that are not good for you. And the 10th aspect is where he's going to tell you where most of your service and your karmic dues are going to be paid off because it's the original 10th house. He's also going to make your reputation come from the 10th house, which is the natural thing, and that's your status, the way that you're serving society and the whatnot. Although in youth, Saturn in the Ascendant can actually show somebody, having a pretty difficult upbringing and hardship. But the thing is having Saturn in the Ascendant makes somebody very organized, wanting to do their responsibilities first before doing the fun stuff next. People with Saturn in the Ascendant also have immense self-control of themselves, and they're able to keep control of themselves. They're not easily moved around or pushed aside or easily moved. They're able to stand firm and keep what they believe in. But again, it depends on the dignity. And another thing I've noticed with Saturn the Ascendant, they have a strong resistance to cold, meaning that you could put someone like, I'm dressed like it's summertime. You can put me in like 40-degree weather, and I'm like, what? It's comfy out here. And that's really true. I actually like the cold personally. I mean, you can kind of tell with all that. So occult practices too. This is only going to be like for Saturn the Ascendant. Sorry. If you have Saturn the Ascendant, you actually are very resistant, and you're able to deflect any kind of occult magical practice thrown at you. Why is that? Well, Saturn is a planet that reflects, deflects. He rebels against influence thrown at him. Remember, about pretty close to say 33% of the light that gets casted to Saturn, it gets deflected by his rings. So we have the concept of Saturn saying, I don't want it! Get it away! No! I'm not doing it. I said! See? You become resistant and you're not easily influenced. So if you're having Saturn the Ascendant, you're actually more able to resist any kind of means of occult thrown at you. And it's natural, because it's in your first house, yourself, and your whole life. So you are automatically resistant to influence to an extent. You're much easier to resist it. You may actually relate to these very well, or you may be like, this doesn't sound like me. But again, it all depends on the dignity. Because if he's in a good dignity, most of the positive stuff will come out of it. But if it's in the bad dignity, whoops.